was that Casey was alluding to she didn't know where the car was, and it kind of makes sense. If she knew where the car was, you wouldn't leave a car, especially that was in good condition. That car runs, great shape. I mean, yeah, it's a nice looking car, and has a lot of life in it. And we had just, put some money in some tires and stuff, and there's no way that we were going to, get rid of the car. Right. And it doesn't make sense to me that she would not want to go back and pick up the car. And eventually, at some point,
keep in mind, there's a lot of things.
I understand. I know it doesn't make sense. But again, at some point she's going to come home. At some point, she's going to have to come with or without the car. Or at some point, she knew she was going to have to come with or without Kaylee. So if she had an opportunity to pick up the car, I would have thought that she would have, or done everything she could have to taken care of that car. But
that's because that's how you and I think.
Yes. Well, and again, if you're trying to look at something objectively.
The one thing you can't do, I'll tell you this, is you can't apply your logic to other people.
Right, exactly. But again,
especially when things have happened.
But again, too, she's not on trial, and people are out there speculating already that Kaylee is a dead child, and this is a homicide investigation, and nothing has been come forward, at least not to us, to say otherwise. And I don't know. I don't know. There's just strong things that I at least we need to follow up. I just think that there's a lot of things that doesn't make sense.
Forensically, there's stuff that can give us some answers, but that takes time. Mm-hmm. And in the meantime, we have to keep working.
Right,
we have
exactly.
to keep looking.
Because if we stop looking until those things come back and they find out that, oh, well, there's really nothing concrete here, we're losing weeks and weeks of looking for Kaylee.
Right.
And every day and every hour and every minute.
I want you to understand something from what I saw today and what I've seen in the last, since you called me, just looking into it. I don't see evidence of people not doing what they should be doing.
Well, that's good. That makes me feel good. It makes me feel good.
It's a very difficult investigation because the most important times of a missing child are the first 72 hours. Mm-hmm. And the first 72 hours were gone.
I know.
They were absolutely gone. They're irretrievable. We can't go back. We can look back and say, I wish. But the fact of the matter is that time's not here anymore.
I know.
Finding out and listening to what I've listened to today and listening to you, there's some very interesting facts that exist. There's some very interesting statements that have been made, not by you, but by your daughter and some other people. And what I want from you, which is probably one of the hardest things in the world for a mom in this situation to go through, is a little bit of objectivity. It's difficult. It is so hard, Cindy, that it's.
Well,
and I know
you can ask Sergeant Allen. I put that all out there. If she did, what do you think? I mean, I went with even, what if she accidentally drowned where she forgot to take the ladder off the pool. Kaylee knows how to open the door, went outside. Casey came out and found her in the pool. He said, no, I don't think that's the case, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I put things out there, scenarios, what if.
And you have to, what you haven't seen and what you haven't run into is when you're a detective and a grandmother who's upset and visibly worried, throw something out like your initial reaction is automatically, no, I don't think that's what happened. Because we don't know. And we don't want you thinking the worst.
Well, bottom line is, too, Kaylee didn't murder Casey. I mean, Casey didn't murder Kaylee.
Right.
I mean, she did not murder that child.
Can I say something to you that you're not going to want to hear? We don't know what happened to Kaylee. Period. We don't know.
But I mean,
I'm not saying she did. I'm not saying she didn't. But as a mother, you have to say that. And I completely understand it. I've got 2 daughters of my own. I completely understand it. But from the law enforcement side of it and from the investigation side of it, looking into a missing child, we have no idea right now what happened to Kaylee. We don't. We're looking for Kaylee.
Right. Well, as long as people are actively looking for Kaylee,
they are.
Then I can rest assured at night that what I got to do is just keep her face out there for people looking, and we're doing what we're doing because that's what we have to do. And I've told the sheriff's department from day one, take down our house if you have to, piece by piece, if you think there's any way that you can find Kaylee. Because we want nothing more to find Kaylee.
I know.
And I'm not worried about Casey where she's at. Casey's safe. I'm not physically worried about her where she's at. I'm physically, emotionally worried about where Kaylee's at right now. Even if her needs are being met physically, they're not being met emotionally. They can't be.
Right.
They can't be. No child should be without her mommy or the people that have raised her or her home. The things, even simple little things as her stuffed animals or her pets.
Her comfort.
Her comfort. That's gone.
I know. I understand. What we have to do, and here's the hard part. Here's the part that doesn't get communicated by law enforcement to families. Okay? Is we have to, there is a systematic way when we're dealing with missing toddlers that we have to go by. And sometimes we don't communicate it well enough to the families. When we have a toddler missing, you have to look at motive, you have to look at all these different things that cause children to become missing. Is it a sexual predator? Is it a kidnapping? Is it money? Okay, we have to start looking at what could have caused this. What could have led to this. And the first thing that you can't do when you have a toddler is absolutely, as investigators, you cannot leave the family.
I know.
And I went through it with Mark Lunsford. He and I are friends now. We talk. You know, we are what we are. But the fact of the matter is that he didn't like me very much for the first 2 or 3 weeks of what was going on.
I understand.
Okay, and when we can't get the answers that we need from the family, and I'm not talking about you because you have given them the answers that they need. You've gone out of your way to tell them everything you possibly know and can come up with. The person that was with Kaylee when she went missing, the last known person to have been with Kaylee is Casey. And Casey has got to get over the fact that Kaylee's safety may be in danger. Kaylee's safety is in danger by the fact that she's not telling us where Kaylee is.
No. Oh, wait. Some of the things that Casey had shared that will probably be public knowledge very soon, because Lee, this is something that you need to get specifically from Lee, because Casey told Lee what had happened. Casey said that she was at Blanchard Park with Zanny, and now I believe she said Zanny's sister, and if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure if her name's Stephanie or whatever, but I think Zanny's sister is blonde too, so there's a blonde reference there. But Zanny, when they were at the park with Kaylee, and I guess her sister had some children, and I don't know if this part is truthful or whatever, but she said Zanny, when they were getting ready to leave, Zanny's sister, or the person with Zanny, took Kaylee. And Casey said, "Where are you guys going?" And Zanny pushed Casey to the ground. And the description of Zanny is that she's at least 5'6", 5'7". Casey's only barely 5'1.5" if you really put shoes on her and she stretches out. And maybe 97, 100 pounds.
Okay.
And this person's at least 140 is what she says. And she said this person pushed her to the ground and threatened her and told her, "Listen, bitch," is what she said.
Right.
"I'm going to teach you a lesson.
Okay.
I'm going to teach you a lesson. So you're not getting Kaylee back." And again, I don't know all the particulars. Lee has all of that conversation from Casey.
When did that conversation occur?
This was supposed to have happened on the 14th, the day that Casey couldn't get. So she's maintaining that they took her. Now, Casey's original statement was that she had dropped her off with the babysitter. This is what she wanted to be public, or what she wanted the detectives to know, is that she dropped her Kaylee off with the babysitter, and that she, when she went back to pick her up, the sitter wasn't there. and that's when